Okay, so the reason we looked at SpeechWrite, to be fair, we looked at several different products to start off with. But what we wanted something that was simple, straightforward, easy to bring into the firm, and wasn't going to be a huge step change for the people that were using it. The last thing you want, particularly in a very busy firm, is a sudden downturn in productivity. So I saw that as a key part of my brief when I was looking at what we were going to do next. And the other thing that we needed, of course, was flexibility. We were on a Citrix platform, but we were going to be moving to remote desktop. But I wasn't quite sure when that transition was going to be. So it was key that whatever product that we bought in, worked on both things, but more importantly, was going to manage the transition as seamlessly for us as well, to ensure that, again, there was no downtime, no loss of productivity. To be fair, we didn't actually trial anything other than SpeechWrite, because we went out to the market and we had a look at a number of different things, some hugely expensive. Great products, would have done everything that we needed and probably made tea for us as well, but we didn't really need it to make tea for us. What we needed was something simple, clean, and not too dissimilar to what people were working, and that kind of left us with a short list of one, which isn't a great place to be, you would feel, but we went out and we tried that one, and it did everything that it said it was going to do on the can. And it was so easy to install, it was so easy to use, that people just went, can I have it now? And it was great. So, as you'd expect, having gone out and found a product, we needed to trial it. There was also, to be fair, a reticence within the firm to make such a big change. They'd been using tapes, everyone was very comfortable with tapes and the foot pedals and all the other bits and pieces. And the firm could see it as a perceived risk that I'm going to throw away all this stuff that they know works, they're quite happy with, even if there's a lot of issues, which we can talk about in a moment. And I was going to put in something new. And was it going to work? And was everyone going to throw themselves off the banisters and so on and so forth? So we set up a real small trial. What we did was we kind of focused on one area of the firm, one department, and within that basically one fee earner, and that fee earner support staff. And we ran the trial. I think we ran the trial for maybe a couple of weeks, and by then it had exploded out as more and more people went, oh, can we try that too? And we got to the end of the couple of weeks trial, and the person who'd started it off sort of turned around and said, you can't take this away from me. If you take this away from me, I'm now going to have to employ another member of staff, because they'd actually reduced, not by getting rid of anybody, because I was never part of the objective of this, but being able to redeploy people into other areas of the firm where they needed more resource without actually having to employ another person and all the costs associated with that. But in doing so, SpeechWrite supported that change, but it also meant that we couldn't take it away. What was great was the people at SpeechWrite, when I kind of rang up and said, that trial license that you gave us for like 30 days, could we have another 30 days? And we're still making decisions, we really, really, really will have it, but could we have another 30 days? And SpeechWrite were hugely supportive of what was happening, the transition, fully understanding that, through the sort of business that a solicitor is, that sometimes the decision process about making reasonable expenditure can take a while, because everyone needs to be on board, everyone needs to be on side. But again, SpeechWrites were fully cognizant of that and fully supportive of what I was trying to do, but also the people within the firm who were so invested in using the product and wanting to move it forwards. I think if it hadn't been for that, it would have been very difficult to have got to the end of the road. So we completed the trial, and we set quite a long timetable really for the transition through the firm, just to make sure that we kind of dotted all our I's, crossed all our T's. There wasn't anything there that was going to suddenly bite us that we hadn't realised. But we didn't actually run into any problems, except the biggest problem we ran into was the fact that this timetable was just compressed, as everyone kind of went, hang on a minute, can I have it too? I'd like to trial it in my department now, but you can't have it back afterwards. And this just went all the way through the firm. So going from really, I think what was going to be between something like a 6 or 9 month transition, just to make sure that people were comfortable and everything else, kind of compressed into, 8, 10 weeks, maybe 3 months at the most. And we've been on the system ever since. And there's not a lot else I can say. What we wanted was we wanted something that invisibly replaced the tapes, invisibly replaced the foot pedals, so that people kind of just went back to the desk and carried on as normal. They got that, but the other important thing that they got was that, of course, if I generate a tape, I could have 8, 10, 20 pieces of dictation on that. And then if someone took that, they might not be able to do the first bit of work if it's outside of their team. They might only be able to do the second bit, but those other 19 pieces of work are stuck on that tape now until it comes back into the team. And we were wasting huge amounts of resource, but also time, because people were trying to support other departments, particularly when they were short-handed, but they were kind of taking that work away, and that work then wasn't available. We bring SpeechWrite in, and of course you take that one bit of work and you do that one bit of work. The other 19 bits of work are there for everybody else to pick up and work on. We had concerns because it's so simple that maybe we wouldn't be able to spread the workload like that, but actually it was really simple to spread the workload. You've got security where you want security. We have pools where only certain people can see certain types of work because we have to do that. We have pools where people can see all the work because we can do that. And it's not complicated for people to use. They just go, I'm going to save it there, I'm going to save it there. In fact, some teams have turned around and said, do you know what? We don't actually need our own pool because we just want everybody to be able to do our work. And of course, that's massively improved the turnaround of documents. It's kind of flattened the workload where we've had, maybe one poor person doing transcription and they've had an Everest of work piled up on their desk because that person used to turn out tapes like a machine. All of a sudden, that person now has support across the whole breadth of the firm, which has reduced the turnaround of letters, reduced the response time to clients, saved on bringing temporary staff in. I think, looking at the cost of the product, we'd paid for it, or it had paid for itself within the first 6 months. We didn't have to employ somebody, and before the end of the year, we'd cancelled 2 or 3 support staff that we were going to bring in for holiday cover because we didn't feel that we needed it anymore. And that was SpeechWrite for us. So, one of the other areas that has been really nice dealing with SpeechWrite is, as part of the IT function, I'm kind of used to ringing up a lot of companies these days and they go, yes sir, we'll just take your details down and can you tell us about the problem, and here's a number, and someone will be getting back in touch with you. And to be fine, I find that a real grind because you can be waiting and you've got somebody, client on the phone, customer, ringing you up going, it's not working. And you're like, oh wait, someone phone me back. Everyone I've spoken to who fixed SpeechWrite owns the problem. You ring up, and I'd say 99 times out of 100, the person you're talking to actually does know what the solution is. But that other small percentage, you're not waiting. They're just going, hang on, so-and-so did the install for you. I'm just going to go and grab them. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to put you down and I'm going to get them to phone you back in 3/4 an hour. It does actually mean you get transferred across to that person. And that's just been fantastic. Also, because we run an RDS session, it can be quite useful to engage the person who's using the software at the same time as I'm talking to the support thing. And their ability to deal with my customers has been great. They don't try and bamboozle them, they don't talk Greek to them. They understand the way that they're trying to use the product, they understand what they need to do to make the product work. And quite often I've just kind of gone and let the 2 people talk to each other, and again the problem's been resolved really quickly. And that's kind of a breath of fresh air with the way that a lot of people have taken their support desks. And was another thing that, certainly during the initial testing process, we got lots and lots of attention, like you always do. But that didn't go away once we went live and we paid all the bills either, which was very reassuring and very reassuring for the future.